All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome to my channel. Go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any more value. If you are watching on Facebook, welcome to my page. Okay, go ahead and hit the follow button, hit the notification so that you don't miss out on any more live trainings. Okay, so first off, I want to start off by saying I'm very grateful for another day. I'm grateful for everything that I have. Grateful for this opportunity and this value that I'm able to give to you guys. I'm grateful for this platform, all these social media platforms that I'm able to go live on. I'm grateful for. I'm just grateful, grateful for everything. I have my appendages work. I'm in my right mindset. I have shelter over my head. I have clothes on my back, shoes to wear, fresh food in the fridge, fresh water to drink. I'm just very grateful. My AC works, my heat works, I have running water. God is good. God is good, right? And I'm just very grateful, y'all. Grateful for everything that I'm going to have, that I already believe that I do have. Um, I'm grateful for my family, grateful for my mentors, anybody that shared any information that helped me get into a better place. Um, yeah, I'm just extremely grateful. All right, so with that being said, let's get into it. I know looks a little bit different, right? For those of you that have been following me these past few weeks, right? I'm usually giving you guys content on digital marketing. Okay, but this is something that I like to do too, right? So this is going to be a little new for some of y'all, maybe not for some others that have followed me in trading before, right? But this is what I like to do too. On the side of digital marketing and making instant commissions is cool, but I like to day trade as well with my profit, right? To put my money to work for me, and this is just a skill that I picked up along the way with day trading, right? Forex. So for those of you that have no idea what this is, right? So Forex, let me get the exact definition for you. Okay, so for y'all that don't know, right? If you've never heard of this before, Forex day trading is a short term trading strategy that involves opening and closing positions within a single day. Day traders will manage positions over a matter of minutes to hours, with often with the assistance of technical tools that can assist them with entry and exit points. Day trading is a form of speculation in securities in which a day trader buys and sells a financial instrument within the same trading day. The goal is to profit from very short-term price movements, right? So basically what that means is we're just buying currencies at different prices, buying and selling, right? And you can profit off of this, right? So there are thousands, or I would say thousands, probably hundreds of different currencies for you to choose from. Okay. Um, and today I'm gonna be showing you guys analysis on Bitcoin, right? So a lot of people trade cryptocurrency. Some people trade regular pairs. Um, yeah, it's up to you, right? Some people trade a bunch of different currency pairs, right? They may trade cryptocurrency, they may trade Euro USD, gold, silver, GBP, USD, right? People, you can choose whatever pairs that you want to trade, right? For me, it really helped me just to focus on one or two of the pairs, right? So the two pairs that I trade is BTC, USD, and I trade gold, right? Which is XAU USD. And today we're going to be going over a BTC analysis. We may look at gold too, but yeah. So that's basically all day trading is, right? We're buying different currencies, buying and selling, and making a profit off of those buys and sells. Okay. So first thing that you're going to need in order to do this is a broker account. Okay. So if you don't have a broker account, I have one that you can use, right? That I've been using. Pretty fast withdrawal, really fast deposit. Everything's legit. and we have a community as well, right, of people that are using the same broker. But yeah, there are a lot of different brokers out there, right? Thousands and thousands of different brokers for you to choose from. I'd say just do your research, right, and find one that works best for you. If you don't want to use the same one that I'm using, okay. But if you want to learn from me, you don't have to buy any course, right? You don't have to buy any $1,000 course or join my MLM group. You don't have to pay to get in my group or pay for signals or anything like that, right? I see a lot of people make money like that, and that's cool. Right? I'm not knocking anybody that makes money like that because I've made money like that. Having people join my MLM or having people pay to join my group or pay to buy my bot, right? I've made money like that. Still make money like that. But with this, the direction that I'm going, I don't want that. Right? I don't want to start a paid group for this. I don't want to have you guys join any MLM or buy any $1,000 course from me. All I want you to do is to use that link below, right? If you're watching on YouTube, the link will be in the description. If you're watching on Facebook, the link should be in the description as well. All right, so you just click that link, you create your broker account, and it's going to bring you here. Okay. So first, you're going to have to turn in your KYC documents. KYC documents, and this is going to be to for security reasons and tax purposes, right? They just want to make sure you're a real person, make sure you always say you are, and also for taxes, right? So fill out your KYC documents. It should just be proof of identification, proof of address, and that should be all, right? So once you turn those in, upload those, you'll get. It's pretty fast, right? I'd say 10 to 30 minutes. You should see an approval. You'll see an email that says your KYC documents have been approved, or if they weren't approved, they'll tell you the reason why. The only reason that it wouldn't be is if your picture isn't clear, right, and they can't read it or identify what's on the documents. So make sure that it's a clear picture of both of them, and then send that, and you should get approved within 10 to 30 minutes. Right. So once you get that email, you'll be able to see everything will unlock in your back office. The very first thing that you want to do is come over here and you want to deposit to your account, right? Because you got to have money on your account in order to trade. Well, you don't have to have money. You could create a demo account at first, but to make real money, right, you have to add money to your account. So you can pay by card, Bitcoin, or any other cryptocurrency that you see. The fastest is probably going to be pay with card or Bitcoin. Ethereum should be fast too. But yeah, those are going to be the best ways. So once you choose how much you want to start with, right, and the minimum deposit is $10. Maximum deposit, I believe, is a million, 10 million. Looks like 10 million. So yeah, make your deposit. I'd say start with at least $100, right? $100, $500 is a good starting point. Obviously, the more money that you put in, the more money that you can potentially make. But yeah, start where you can, right? I would say don't go broke trying to trade. It just doesn't make sense. And that's a broke mentality, right? If you're trying to put your life savings in so that you can hurry up and get rich, you're going to blow your account every time, right? Just a little side note, energy and your trading results are going to go hand in hand, right? The energy that you have, the mindset that you're in is going to go hand in hand with your results. Okay, so you don't want to start this in a desperate mentality. You don't want to start trading in a bad energy, right? Bad vibe, because that's going to translate into your results. Okay, so don't come on here trying to get rich quick, trying to put in the last of your money. Okay, um, I'd say if you're down to your last $1,000, then put in $200, $300, right, and start with that, and then build up from there. But don't go broke trying to trade. I've already went through that, right? I've blown so many accounts and so many different times where I was just trying to get rich quick, and I was trying to put in the all of my money, right? The last of my money, money that I was even supposed to spend on rent or my bills or even money to eat. right? And I would put it into a broker account, thinking that I'm going to hurry up and flip this money, right? And you don't want to trade with that type of energy, that type of mindset, and that desperate mentality. Okay, so just a little side note, keep in mind, right, when you're trading, and if you've already been trading, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? And you have to be in just the right mind space. You have to have the right energy when you go into this, right? An abundance type of mindset, a prosperity type of conscious trading, because it goes hand in hand, right? With your energy and your results. Whatever energy that you are putting into this, whatever energy that you're starting off with this, is what's going to reflect in your results. Okay. So yeah, I say all that to say, just use wisdom, right? I wouldn't blow the last of your money trying to get rich with trading, because there are going to be losses. You're going to take losses, right? Sometimes people do. They put in the last of their money, they take a big lot size trade and they bet it all and they win. Some people do, right? But for most people, it's not going to go that way. So you just want to be smart, right? And use proper risk management, um, budget correctly. That's really how you're going to profit with trading, is using proper risk management, not being greedy, and being disciplined. Okay, so yeah, just be smart, right? Be smart. So once you have your money deposited, it should show up in your accounts. Okay, so you can come to accounts, and the money's going to show up in your account, whatever account that you put it right. Well, it should deposit into your wallet balance first. It'll pop up here, and then what we want to do is make an internal transfer. Okay, so we're going to come over here. Once the money pops up in your wallet balance, it's going. You're going to come over here to internal transfer. You're going to choose the account that you want to transfer the money to, right? So you choose your account, your wallet balance. This will be the amount that you deposited, right? You should see it pop up here, and you're going to type in how much you want to transfer into your trading account. Okay, so once you do that, it'll show you how much you receive. Click send, and the transfers are usually instant, right? So you'll see your wallet balance go to zero, and then whatever account that you deposited to, you'll see the money pop up there. All right. So that's the first step, right? So now you've made your deposit, you've transferred your money into your live account. Okay. Now what you want to do? Now we're ready to log into our trading platform, right? So we come over here. You're going to click trade, start trading. Okay. So hopefully I can remember my password. All right. So it's like I'm getting something. All right. So 1 second, you guys. All right. Let me check something real quick and get my password. 1 second. 1 second. Okay. There we go. All right. So, yeah, for future reference for you guys that are watching, make sure that you save your password, right? Write it down on a notepad or somewhere. Save it, because you just want to make sure that you have that on hand, right? You don't want to forget that, so you can log into your account. All right. So once you're logged into your account, you should see your balance pop up here. if you made that internal transfer. And these are going to be the pairs on the left side, right? So remember I was mentioning about the currency pairs. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at BTC. Okay, so we come over here to, I believe, charts. Right? Nope, that's not it. All right, yeah, here we go. All right, so we're going to choose from market list. You come over here, type in BTC. I'm going to go to BTC USD. Okay, we'll make this a little bit bigger, make this a little bit smaller. Okay, here we go. All right, so now what you're looking at here, this is a called a chart, right? So all these different currency pairs, they all will operate on a chart, right? So first thing that you want to do when you're looking at a chart like this, right? So if you have no idea what you're looking at, this is going to look like Chinese to you, right? But I'm going to try to break this down to you in the most simplest terms, right? So it's going to be very ABC. I'm not going to complicate this. This is going to be very, very simple to understand, right? I'm going to keep it in very basic terms for you guys. So when you're looking at the chart, right, first thing that you want to do is you want to see the whole picture, right? So in order to see the whole picture, you need to back out in your time frame. Okay, so up here, if you come up to the top, it's going to allow you to choose your time frame. And right now, we're on the hour, right? So I usually like to back out to like the daily. Okay. And this gives you a pretty much overall picture of what's going on, right? And the reason why you want to get an overall picture because you cannot get right if you do not look left, right? What that means is if you don't look back at previous price action, right, then there's no way for you to tell what's going to happen in the future, right? So we got to look back to get right. Okay, a mentor told me that one time. You got to look back at the past, right? What history has done to understand what the future will be or where it could go. Okay, so keep that in mind. So if we're looking back at this, right, overall picture, the first thing that we want to figure out is what is the trend of this market? What is the trend of the market? That's the first thing that we want to figure out, right? The first thing we want to identify is what is the trend of the market? And a quick way to figure out the trend of any market, right, is for you to ask yourself: is price starting in the bottom left corner or the top left corner? Okay, so if you're watching now, where is price starting? Bottom left or top left? All right, bottom left. Okay, so if it's starting bottom left, that is an uptrend, right? Price is gradually going up. So what you want to do is grab your drawing tool. Okay, we want to grab our trend line. Okay. Indicators, drawings. Okay. Title. All right, so I think I'm gonna switch over to trading view because it's a little bit icons. Oh, here we go. Okay, we're gonna grab our trend line tool and we're just gonna start at the lowest point. Okay. go. All right. So this is the first thing that you're going to do, right, is identify the trend of the market. And the way that we do that is we start from the lowest point to the next highest point, right, which would be here. And we got another one touching here. Okay. So, and for something to be an official trend for me, right, for it to identify as a trend for me, it needs to touch my trend line at least I'd say at least 3 to 4 times, right? At least two to three, I would say. Right. So you can see here we're touching our trend line here. One, two, three touches. Right. Almost four right there, but got about three touches on this trend line, right? So that makes this an official trend. So what is price doing? It's going up to a certain point, seeing resistance, coming back down. Going up to a certain point, seeing resistance, trying to make its way back down to the trend line. Going up to a certain point, coming back to retest our trend line, right? Coming down. Going up to a certain point, coming back to test. Up to a certain point, back down to test our trend line, right? So if you would have had this trend line drawn before, right, you would have known when we started to see this resistance here, right? Price hit here, didn't go past, came down, hit here again, didn't go past. That would have been an indication that okay, maybe this is an area of resistance, right? And we might be heading back to our trend line. So we should be looking for sales. Also, another way that I knew sales were coming was because there was a gap around this area where my mouse is at, right? And I'll teach you guys about gaps and all that stuff. It's a little bit advanced, but just real quick, right? If you ever see a gap form, meaning like it'll be like a literal gap, right, in the market, in the candlestick, right? If you ever see a gap form, know that price is going to come back to fill that gap. All right, so there's a gap like around here that formed that I warned people about when we were seeing this bull run, right? And people thought price was just going to take off from here and go to the moon. And I kept telling people, right, it, it, it has to come back and fill this gap before it takes off, right? So it's going to come back and retest. Will it come back down to this trend line? Mm, I don't know, right? But it is looking like it's trying to come back and retest its trend, just like it's done in the past, right? So remember, I told you, got to look back to get right. So if you look back before, you see it always comes back down to test this trend line after it goes up for a while, right? Went up for a while, came back down to test the trend line. Went up for a while, it's coming back down to test this trend, right? So for me to get in for buys, right, for BTC, I need to see at least come about, let's see, how did I get these drawings? There we go. Okay, so for me personally, for me to get in for buys, I need to see it at least come back to touch this line, right? This is our previous high. There's a lot of resistance at this area, so I'm feeling like it will come back down to at least 73,668 before it starts to work its way back up. Okay. I know some of us don't want to hear that, especially people that got in for buys all the way up here, right? Was the worst area for you to get in for buys at. Anybody that was a real trader, right, would have told you that this waiting for price to get at its all time high and get in for buys is craziness. That's why I wasn't telling people to hurry up and buy BTC, hurry up and buy Bitcoin, right? But you'll see people do that all the time. Well, once we go on a bull run, right? Like after this next bull run comes, after it comes back down to retest, and this next bull run starts, you'll see people saying it again. Oh, get in for buys, get in for buys, right? The best place to get in for buys is when price is crashing, right? When it's coming back down. Best time for getting for sales is when it's at its all-time high. So when you hear people talking about Bitcoin a lot and saying, "Oh, buy Bitcoin," that's the best time to sell. When you hear everybody getting quiet, like it is now, it's going to get even more quiet when this continues to drop down to at least this trend line. It's going to get real quiet in the Bitcoin community. That's the best time to buy. All right, just keep it in mind. If you want to know, you don't even have to look at the chart to know when to buy Bitcoin. All you got to do is pay attention to the people. When the people start getting quiet, nobody's talking about Bitcoin, right? Everybody's getting scared and selling their Bitcoin. That's when you buy. That's when you get ready for buys. Like now, I'm getting ready for my buys. Once it gets down to this area, I'm looking for it to bounce off this trend line, or price could just continue to crash, right? But hoping that doesn't happen. But um, should definitely come back to retest this area here, right? So and that's when I'll get in for my buys, and I'll be in for buys from here up until wherever it goes, right? But yeah, when everybody's quiet in the Bitcoin community, that's when you should be getting ready for buys. When everybody starts getting hyped up and making posts and everything about Bitcoin and telling you to buy and get into the Bitcoin program, that's when you want to sell. Okay. So yeah, first things first, like I said, we identify the trend line. Next thing we want to do is identify our zones. How do we identify our zones? We identify our support and resistance. How do we identify that? We identify major reversal points. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is identify our major reversal points. So we're going to get our circle tool. Hopefully I can find it. There it is. All right, and we're going to draw circles around the major reversal points. Okay, so obviously, okay, all right, so you see major reversal point here. How do I move this without dragging it? There we go. Why does it keep doing that? Okay, so I'm not sure why it keeps doing that. But what we're going to do is, all right, hmm, This is so annoying. No one keeps doing that. Okay. Here we go. All right. And if you're watching, we're just drawing. We're identifying our major reversal points. Okay, let me just a little bit wider. Oh, why does it keep doing that? It's so annoying. All right, so I think we're going to use the other. We're going to use Trading View. All right, so I like drawing on Trading View a little bit better. Trading View. All right, and if you're watching, Trading View is just another platform where you can practice on. You can even you can trade from Trading View as well. Okay, so let me go over here. BTC, USD. We go. All right. Okay, so what we're doing is identifying our major reversal points. Okay, if you're just now jumping on right now, the reason why we are identifying our major reversal points is because that's how we are going to find out what zone we're in. Right? Take these. And you don't have to identify all of them, just enough to give you an idea of where we're seeing resistance. Okay. Okay. All right. So you can see here, right? If we're looking at this, these major reversal points, right? What these represent are areas of resistance, right? So This is how we're going to figure out our zone. Figure out our zone by grabbing our rectangle tool, and we're just going to basically connect the dots, right? Of where we're seeing resistance. So let's say about there. Maybe we can move this up just a little bit. Say about right there. All right. Okay. You see why I put these rectangles here is because we're seeing a lot of resistance when it comes up to this area, and also when it comes down to this area. Okay. So it doesn't have to be exact, just a general area of where we're seeing resistance, right? And then for the top, which is your resistance, right? So the bottom uh, resistance area is going to be your support. Okay. Which means like you're looking at this like it's a house, right? So the bottom is going to be like your floor, which is supporting you, right? The top is going to be the roof of your house, right? So that's resisting you from going above that point. Okay, top resistance, bottom support, right? This is how we find our zone. So the zone is represent in between here, right? The space in between the resistance and the support, this is called your zone. This is where price is bouncing between. Okay. You can see here we can draw another zone or identify another area of resistance about there. Okay, so this is a good example. Let me just zoom in real quick. Just a little bit bigger. Okay, so you see here, in between this zone where price comes up to a certain point, our resistance comes back down to our support, tries to go up and retest our resistance, comes back down to our support, broke our support. Now we are in this zone here, right? Came down, tested our support area, came up to our resistance area, came back. Now it's trying to come back and test our support area, right? So what I see happening is price will continue to drop down. I'd say what's on the line. Why isn't that popping up? It's on the line. Hmm. Why is it? All right, 1 second, y'all. Creating canvas symbols. All right, trying to figure out. Trend line. All right, yeah, my trend lines. All right, 1 second, you guys. For some reason, my trend line is showing up white into colors. Why is it not popping up? Hmm. Going on. It's still not showing up. But why? Visibility. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure why my drawings aren't showing up. Trend line. Color white. Yeah, it's not. What is going on? Visual order. Bring the front. Hmm. Trading view. All right, let me see if this does it. I'm gonna try to start this over, but hopefully this works. Charts. Come on. There we go. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. Let me go back to BTC, USD. Okay. Get rid of all these drawings, and we're just gonna start from scratch. Remove drawings. Back out to the daily. There we go. All right. So for those of you that are following along, I'm just gonna skip some steps with y'all. Okay. So like I said, first thing that you want to do is identify the trend of the market. So what we do, come over here, grab our trend line tool. We're gonna start from the lowest part, lowest point. Okay. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to make sure that price is touching on your trend line at least 2 to 3 times, right, for it to be an official trend. All right, so about right there. All right. So you want to make sure that price is touching on your trend line at least 2 to 3 times for it to be an official trend. You can see here, price is starting on our trend line right here, going up to a certain point, coming back, testing our trend line. We got one touch, almost two, three, four, right, along this trend line. So you can see here clearly we are still in an uptrend. right, in the overall market. So the next step, right, like I explained to y'all, we want to identify what zone we're in. The way we identify our zone is by identifying our major reversal points. Okay, so the way we identify our major reversal points, come over here, grab our circle tool, and I'm just going to identify just a few, right? Just enough to see what where the area of resistance is at. Okay, so go. Mm, all right. So now we got our major reversal points identified, right? And you just have to do a few of them. You have to do all of them, um, just to give you a general idea of where we're seeing resistance. Right. Okay. So now that we have this identified, now we can see. All right, we're seeing some resistance in this area here. Some resistance in this area. Okay. So we can come over here, grab our rectangle tool, and we're just going to go rectangle tool. Right. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just along the lines of where you're seeing resistance. Okay. And the more that you do this, the more you'll be able to tell where resistance at. You'll get to a point where you only have to do these lines and draw these circles and rectangles and stuff, right? You'll just be able to tell where prices seeing resistance at, right? So now we can zoom in more. Okay. All right. So you can see here now that we are inside of this zone here on the daily. Okay. If you're a long term trader, then you're going to be trading on the daily, right? The 4 hour, maybe the hour. If you're a scalper, you're going to trade anywhere lower from the hour, 30 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, minute, right? For me, my style, if I'm working with a bigger account, I like to do swing trades. If I'm with the small account, I just like to get in and out the market, right? Scalps to hurry up and build my account. But whatever is your style, right? If you like to be patient and hold trades for a week, 2 weeks, a month at a time, then you're going to want to swing trade, right? So you'll be trading on the higher time frames. But if you just like to get in and out the market, quick profits, then you're going to trade on the lower time frames, right? But you want to take a look at all the time frames, right, from the daily down to the minute, just so that you can get better entries, right, and really see what's going on with whatever pair that you're trading. Okay, you got to look at the bigger time frames, and you got to look at the smaller ones too. So, yeah, just get in that habit, right? Get in the habit of going from your daily down to the 4 hour, right, down to the hour, the 15 minute, the 5 minute, and then the minute. The minute time frame. This is where I usually make my entry. Right, I go down to the minute to make my entry, just because it gives you a closer look at what's really going on. All right, but you can see here, like I said, price was going to continue to fall, and I believe it will continue to fall until we get into this area here, right? This yellow rectangle area. Okay, let me make this a little. All right, till it gets to this yellow shaded area. So I would continue to wait to get in for buys until it reaches down into this area, right? There was a gap here, a fair value gap, around this area, around 77,000. So I definitely will wait for it to fill that gap, right? And I was telling people that when we seen this big bull run that there was a gap here, so don't get too excited because it's always going to come back and refill the gap, right? That's just a little advanced tip to you guys. When you see a fair value gap in the market, it's usually going to come back and fill that gap, right? So even if we go to our indicators, we type in fair value gap, there should be a gap that we are filling. Okay, so right here, you can see here this fair value gap, right? There's also another one down here, a few more here too, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if it did come back and fill these fair value gaps all the way down to here, to 55K. Okay, but it's definitely going to come fill at least these two. All right. So from 78,000 to 72,000, I would expect price to play in between here before we start to shoot up again. Okay, so that's what I'm waiting for, right? I'm waiting to get in for buys on Bitcoin until it gets to this area. You could try to ride some sales down to this area too as well, but I definitely see it coming back down to test this trend line here. Right, it's going to be the one daily trend. Okay. All right, and this here we're going to call our bottom. This is going to be our daily support, and this is going to be our daily resistance. Okay, so keep that in mind. The top shaded area, right? The top shaded rectangle is going to be called your resistance. That's like representing the roof of your house, right? So picture it like this is like a house. And this is the bottom is going to be your floor, which is going to be the support. The top is going to be your resistance, like the roof of your house. Okay. So that's the zone we're in. And that's what I usually trade from zone to zone, right? So I just wait for price to touch one of my zones. If it touches the bottom support, I'm looking to get in for buys. If it touches the resistance, I'm looking to get in for sales. Okay. All right. So when price starts to get down to here into the shaded area, we just want to be patient because it could continue to push down to touch this trend line before price starts to go back up. All right. So what I would like to see it do is come back, fill this gap, and then continue back up. All right. But overall, we can see even if you back out, right? Price always comes back to retest. Okay. So even back here in 2023, this was October, right? October 2023, took off. We was in this bull run, went all the way up to what's that? 75, 73,000. right? And then it started to make its way back down. And that was March 2024, last year, like around this time, right? Um, it was at an all-time high. Then it started to retest, right? And it just continued to retest that 70 through 74,000 to 71,000, right? Just continue to retest that. Retested it once, twice, three times, and then came back down to our trend line. Same thing that it did back up here, right? So if we grab our horizontal tool about right there, okay, did the exact same thing up here. Came up, tested once, tried to test twice, three times. Now it's coming back down to retest the trend line. Okay, so this is what we continue to see. Right? I don't know why we get so surprised and think that it's anything different. Same thing happened up here, right? So even if we, I'm gonna get a little advanced on you guys, right? But we're gonna grab our um, Fibonacci. We're gonna grab our Fibonacci retracement tool. Okay, and if we draw a line from here to here, right? So price was at its lowest around 4,000, around 4,000, and came back. That was March 20, right? 2020. Came down, crashed, right? COVID hit, and then started to take off. Okay, into this bull run, came all the way up to about 65K, 2021 in April, and then it started to drop. Right, dropped about 60%. Okay, at the 60% retracement mark, went back up to about 70K, came back down to about more than 78%, right, of retracement. So every time we have a big bull run, we see a 60% retracement all-time high to a 70% retracement to an all-time high. So what do you think is going to happen here? All right, we get rid of that Fibonacci tool, get rid of that. Boom, we draw from our lowest point about right here to our highest point. Okay, price went up to 108K. Now we're seeing retracement, right? And price is always retraced at least 60%. So 60% would be, whew, okay, y'all. I know we don't want to hear that, but it's just what's happened in the past. Okay, so 60% would be here, 70% retracement would be here. All right, now am I saying that it's going to come all the way down to here again, right? It might not, but it's definitely going to, if it's retraced to here, it's definitely probably going to hit this area and bounce off our trend line at least one more time, right? It'd be cool if it didn't, right? If it stayed here and then continued to shoot up, right? But I do see it playing around this area for maybe a, who knows, right? Who knows how long it will be, but I do see it coming to touch this area before we start to shoot up again. Okay, and at this, it would be about 38, 48, 40% retracement. Okay, but in the past, it's always retraced about 60 to 78% before taking off. All right, so just keep that in mind. So you guys see that? But we're still really early in this, right? We're still in the really early stages of all this. So even if it does come back and touch at least here, right? I do see it coming back to touch its all-time high, earlier all-time high, which was around this area, around 72K, right? Was when it came up, and that was in December 2022, right? Came down, touched here, and then started to take off. Saw some resistance, came back to our trend line. Right, this would have been the perfect time to get in for a buy right here, August 2024, August 11th, and then rolled that buy all the way up to 108K. Now it's retracing. Okay, now we're at our about to be at our daily support. I will be looking to get in for buys once it fills this area, plays around this area, maybe even touches this trend line. If it touches the trend line, I'm definitely stacking up for buys at that area. Okay. But you want to be careful. Even if it gets down to here, you want to be careful because it could break this area, retest, and come back, right? To what it's previously always done is retraced at least 60 to 78%, right? This area here, okay, let me grab my rectangle tool. This area would be the 60 to 78% retracement tool if we're going off what has happened in the past. All right. I don't want to see it pull back to this, right? Especially for those of you that are in buys right now. That's going to just blow out your whole account. But that's what it's done in the past, right? And if it does, that's a beautiful opportunity to get in for buys down here, right? But I do see it coming down to at least this area here from the 77,000 to 73,000 area, right? So when it gets in between this area, you want to be looking. Well, that's when I'm going to be looking to get in for buys. All right. So yeah, that's analysis on BTC on the hour time frame. Okay, but yeah, I keep it very simple. All we do is identify the trend line, identify our daily, our resistance and support, right, which will represent our zone, and we just trade from zone to zone. Right. So yeah, you guys, if you're watching this and you want to trade with me, right, you want to trade with me daily. You don't have to buy any course from me. You don't have to pay to get in my MLM, right? Any MLM that I'm doing, none of that, right? Only thing I ask is that you just create a broker account with the same broker that I'm using and deposit, right? Once you make your deposit, go ahead and send me a message, let me know, or I'll be able to see it in my back office too. So, but yeah, just reach out to me. Let me know that you created your account, you deposited, and you're ready to trade, right? Then I'll add you to my trading group so that you can trade with us. I usually try to trade around 8 to 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Okay. Sometimes I may get up a little bit earlier, like around 5 a.m., just to do a quick analysis and may catch a couple plays early, right? 5 a.m. around there. But mainly I try to trade when opening bell happens, which is around 8:30 a.m., right? Or at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Okay. So now we've looked at Bitcoin, and this is on the daily. Okay, so if you want to scalp, you're going to want to work your way down, right, and do the exact same thing on the hour, 4 hour, the hour, the 15, the 5, and the minute. Right, the minute is where you're going to make your entry at. So yeah, let's head over to gold because that's what I trade to, right? Say USD. All right, so gold has been on the uptrend as well. All right. So, like I said, very first thing that we do is identify the trend of the market. Okay. And like I said, it needs to touch at least 2 to 3 times for it to be an official trend. So, if we're looking at this, all right. So, first thing you want to do is identify the trend. Like I said, it needs to touch your trend line at least 2 to 3 times for it to be an official trend. So, you can see here we got one touch on a trend, came back, two touches, three, and then it just took off, right? Took off to the moon. And now we're sitting at an all time high. All right. So, obviously, gold is in an uptrend. And it just makes sense right now, right? Whenever times start to get a little shaky, and there's rumors of war or war going on, gold seems to shoot up, right? Because people are buying up more assets, hard backed assets like silver and gold, um, when times are uncertain. Okay. So, yeah, it just makes sense, right? Why we're in this uptrend right now. But yeah, first thing we want to do is identify trend of our market, and we are clearly in this uptrend. Okay. So that's the very first thing we identify. Next thing we want to identify is our zone, right? What zone are we in? How do we identify the zone? Identifying our major reversal points. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And like I said, we don't have to identify all of them, just enough to let us know where we're seeing resistance. Okay, so there we go. Okay, and so on and so on. Okay, we see we got some here too. All right, there. All right. Okay. So once you identify just a few of them, right? Doesn't have to be all of them. Just enough to see where you're seeing areas of resistance. Okay. So um, our top area of resistance is going to be called our resistance, which is going to represent like the roof of your house. Okay. So we can draw a rectangle around there. All right. That's our all-time high resistance area. And then All right. So you can see here we are currently in between this zone here. Okay. So prices started off, broke through this resistance, created a new support, came up to our new resistance, came back, retested our support, came up to our resistance, and now it's looking like it's seeing trouble breaking this area. Probably trying to come back and maybe come back and test this area, right? Or it could break through this area, right? Create a new all-time high, and then creating this will be our new support. If it doesn't, right? If it respects this area, then I definitely see it coming back to retest. Probably like this around here. Okay. But yeah, you want to just be careful, right? Be careful. Um because this very could shoot up and break through this area. Okay. I'm not saying that it can't, but it could. Okay. Especially as things get crazier and crazier in the world. I do see the price of gold going up, right? Shooting past 3,000. But um before that happens, right, it could respect this area, come back and retest here before we shoot out the moon. So yeah, just be careful. But yeah, to get a closer look, you want to go into the 4 hour, to the hour, to the 15, 5, and minute, so that you can get a closer look and a better entry. But right now, just looking at this on the daily, you can see we're seeing a lot of resistance, right? A lot of candles forming at this area. So could definitely be a sign of it coming back to retrace to our daily support. Okay, this is going to be our daily support. This is going to be our daily resistance. Okay. But yeah, we're clearly in between this zone right now. Bring this up a little bit. All right. So yeah, if I was to try to get in for entry here, right, I would try to go down to at least the minute time frame, and we do the exact same thing, right? The exact same thing that we just did, right? Identify the trend, which we're kind of going sideways right now. All right. So on the minute time frame, right? This is how you get sniper entry. Okay, you want to work your way down. Like I said, identify the trend of the market. It's the first thing that we do. Okay, so to quickly identify the trend, if you want to ask yourself, the price looks like it's pretty much going sideways right now, um, just in between this zone here. But if I was to draw a trend line for this, right, have to be this there. Okay. So a slight uptrend, but again, it looks like this is going sideways just by looking at this. Okay, so price is just bouncing in between this zone. Okay, but we are seeing a little uptrend right now. Right, so I would just draw trend line starting here. Price test once, twice, three times, four times, right? Um, and like I said, it needs to touch your trend line at least two to three times for it to be an official trend. Okay, so after we find the trend, then we can identify our areas of resistance, right? And I kind of already identified that for you guys. We could see here, we grab our circle tool, and we identify our major reversal points. Okay, there we go. Right, and like I said, the top, you're going to look at this like it's your house, right? So the top is going to represent your roof, the resistance. This is going to be your minute resistance. And the bottom is going to be like your floor of your house. Right? So that's supporting you. So it's going to be the minute support. 1 minute. Okay. So what I see price doing, came back, retested the support, off bounced off the trend line. So I see it definitely trying to come back up to our 1 minute resistance, right? So could be looking for buys. I try not to get into trades in the middle of the zone, right? Because it could go either way. It could come back and try to retest this trend line, right? But from here, it does look like it's trying to come back and retest this minute resistance. Okay, so it can only do two things. It's either going to come up, retest this area, our resistance area, or it's going to come back down, retest our support. Okay, if you do get in for buys, I would set your stop loss somewhere around. I put a tight stop loss right somewhere around there. If it does come back and hit your stop loss, wait for it to hit the trend line before you get in. Try to get in for buys, or wait for it to get back down to your support before you try to get in for buys. Okay, and yeah, ride that thing on up. All right, so yeah, this is my analysis for gold. Okay, and this isn't any financial advice. Please trade at your own risk. I'm not a financial advisor. Just somebody to just make an analysis for you, right? And you can make an educated guess on what you believe will happen. Please trade responsibly. Do not trade with any money that you can't afford to lose. Okay, this is trading. Losses will occur, and my results are not indicative of your future results. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So yeah, this is what I'm seeing for gold. Okay, if I was to give a call on gold, I probably would call for buys up to this resistance area. Okay, but be very careful. It could also come back and try to retest our minute support, right? Test this trend line. But in the case that it does, just stay calm. Make sure you keep your stop loss in place if you do continue to get in for buys, right, as it goes down. Um, but yeah, if it does go up from here, just continue to move your stop loss up. And these are things that I teach you inside of our trading group, right? That you'll learn from me when to move up your stop loss, when to get out of trades if it does come back to your stop loss. Um, and then we just reassess, right? It can only do two things. It's either going to hit your take profit or it's going to hit your stop loss. Two things that it can do. If it does come back down and hit your stop loss, you lose money. You only lose a certain amount, right? And you know how much you are going to lose or win on each trade, right? This is proper risk management. You got to have proper risk management, right? You just can't jump on here and not have any take profit set, no stop loss set, and just say I'm just trying to get in it for the win, for the big win, and that's what it's going to do, right? You're going to blow your account every single time, right? Success comes from a strategic plan, a disciplined plan every single time that you use, every time you approach the market, right? So you want to just make sure that you know what your loss is going to be, you know what your profit is going to be either way, right? Either way that it goes. So, like I said, if it does come back and hit our stop loss, then we just reassess, take a deep breath, um, do our analysis again, and get back in for another trade, right? We just want to make sure that we're winning more than we lose. So if we take 10 trades, we want to make sure that we're winning at least 7 out of those 10 times, 6 out of 10, right? Anything over five, you're profitable, right? But a good trader is winning at least 7, 8 out of 10 trades. Really good traders, 90%. Okay. So yeah, like I said, you don't have to buy any course from me if you want to trade with me. You don't have to join any MLM and worry about making a monthly subscription. None of that crazy stuff, right? Only thing you got to do to trade with me is create a broker account with my link, make your deposit, and then you can come and trade with me, right? And learn from me. So yeah, you guys, I hope you guys got a lot of value from this. Those of you that have been following me, I know this is a little different, but I like to day trade too. So this is what I do with my profit that I make from my digital marketing. All right. So what is this? Oh, this is on Twitch. Okay, so Heather Roof, she says cheap viewers on streaming.com, remove the space. We're going to delete that and block this user. Not sure how we delete that though. Okay, so yeah, I hope you guys got value from this. Um, if you need to rewatch this, you can. The replay will be on Facebook, the replay will be on YouTube, um, Twitch, Instagram. All right, so I hope that you guys got value from this. And if you want to trade with me, like I said, you don't have to buy a course or join any MLM, none of that crazy stuff. Just use my link to create your broker account, make your deposit, and then let me know. I'll add you to my trading group, and yeah, we could trade. You could trade with me Monday through Friday. I usually trade Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are usually my best trading days. I try to stay out of the market on Sundays and Mondays and Fridays. All right. So yeah, y'all. Hope you got value from this, and I will see you guys on the next one.